What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. So a couple of you guys wanted me to give you guys a review for Firestarter, and last night I watched it, and I gotta say, they changed up a lot of things with this new movie. So the older one obviously is a little longer than this one. This one, and where do I begin? Okay, so of course, this movie is about a little girl whose parents have these powers. They were, you know, put into this scientific lab. They were given these injections, and then with their powers, baby was born with this fire in her. Now, in the first movie, in the original movie, she only has her own power. She only has the ability to start fires. In this one, she not only has that, but she has each of her parents' powers as well, which was not at all in the first one. So I feel like in this movie, they changed a couple of things, they cut a couple of things. There were changes to a few of the characters. So as we know in the beginning, in the original, there was this guy who was the head of everything. This time around, it's a woman, but she doesn't. I feel like in this one, she doesn't give enough of being who she's supposed to be in this movie. She's the captain of this facility, but I feel like she wasn't intimidating enough. She wasn't. I wouldn't say she was supposed to be scary, but she wasn't as strong as the character was in the first movie, right? So, as you know, there's another guy who is after this little girl. This guy in the original movie, after. I am skipping around because this movie did just that. It skipped a couple of things, it changed a couple of things. So in the first movie, obviously the mom dies. The dad is now on the run with the daughter. They both get captured. And initially they're on the run and they come across this older couple's, home. They hitch a ride. They get to their home. They're talking. He realizes that he's not really who he says he is. And he tells them the truth at that point. They help, try to basically, keep them undercover. And then it's not cops that come in the original movie. They're the guys from these facilities, the agents that come and try to take them. In this movie, the cops get called because the older gentleman is watching TV and he's watching the news and he sees that he's on the news and he calls the cops. He's a drunk old man whose wife is not even well and able. And in the original movie, they both come outside. She's, doing what she's moving around and she brings them inside. She makes them something to eat. In this movie, his wife is like away in this room in the dark, hooked up to machines because she had this accident like 30 years ago, and he's basically been trying to kind of preserve her and keep her as alive as he can. And that's totally not what happened in the original movie. And then, again, the cops get called. They get shot up by the guy who was after the little girl. So the agents aren't even there at this point. And so the daughter runs away. The dad, he stays behind. He gets captured. So along the way, the captain goes to visit the scientist. I believe he's a scientist or the doctor that originally gave them this injection, and I forget his name, but he's like in one scene and then he doesn't appear again. So I feel like it was either pointless to keep him there or they should have given him more into the movie because he played like he is the reason why they are the way that they are. So I feel like if they were only going to have this little conversation with him and not show him again, it should have just never happened. It should have been some type of, throwaway line where they discussed that they spoke to him or something, because I just feel like he wasn't in there enough. They should have brought him back to the facility. They should have had him talking, to other people. And in the first movie, you see, he had a little bit more of a role than just a conversation. So they didn't do that. And then towards, the end of the movie, they don't capture the girl. This guy that is after her uses his power to lure her to the facility. So she thinks it's her dad telling her where he is, and it's not him at all. So she doesn't even get captured. They're not running any tests on her like they did in the original movie. She's like now going full blown terror mode. She's using her dad's powers, her mom's powers, her own powers. She's tearing everybody apart. It's almost like she's a little Terminator. Like, it's so not what the first movie was. And, this guy ends up killing her mother, who's after her. And then, once, and here's the kicker too, like, in the original movie, her dad obviously dies, because they're both captured. They're both in separate rooms. The guy who is after her befriends her in the original movie. He's acting like a janitor. He's going in and out of her room. He's trying to befriend her. He's trying to earn her trust and all this. So there's a dialogue with the person who is trying to get to her and her. So there's it's a big story. It unfolds a lot of stuff. In this movie, he doesn't do much of anything. She doesn't even get captured. There's no dialogue with them. There's no story behind, there's no trying to, befriend her. There's none of that in this movie. And I was just like, what are they doing here? Right? So again, he ends up, he is the one who kills her mother. And at the end of it all, when the girl just kills everyone, so she ends up actually killing her own dad. Her dad with his power, makes her kill him because he is captured in this glass room with the captain, and the captain's trying to get this little girl to, stay, and, she's trying to kind of convince her or whatever. And she's like standing there. She's like, call a doctor for my dad or I'll hurt myself. And she's putting herself on fire, and then she takes off her jacket, and her dad basically is just like, you got to do what you got to do. And so she sets, not on the captain is standing right next to her dad in this room, and he makes her put them both on fire. So she kills both of them. Now, the whole facility is on fire. She's going through like the Terminator. She's killing everybody. She's making people kill themselves, and she's blasting everything. And towards the end, the last person that's left is the person who's been after her, who killed her mom, and she spared his life. She spared his life. I don't know why. There's no explanation. It's like I don't understand what happened. She kind of looks at herself. She wipes her face with the blood off her face, and she walks away. She's sitting at the beach. The guy comes behind her and extends his hand for her to take it, and she takes his hand, and he picks her up and carries her off, and that's the end of the movie. That ending was so ridiculous to me. It was it was so silly. This movie, I'm giving it like 2.5 toodles, because I did not like this movie at all. To me, it was not like the first one. I feel like they tried to just pick bits and pieces off the first one and just try to cram everything into one modern movie. I don't know what they were doing with that. I felt like they should have stuck with the original and maybe did a few tweaks here and there, but I feel like they just changed the movie completely. And the ending was just ridiculous. So I didn't really care for this Firestarter. I much rather have watched the original once again. I enjoyed the original much, much more than this new version. And they just messed this completely up. I can't. 2.5 toodles for this modern Firestarter. Excuse me. If you watched Firestarter, please leave your comments down below and let me know what you guys think of the movie compared to the original, if you did watch the original. But this was a no for me. Just, I don't care to see it again at all. Anyway, yeah, let me know what you think down below. Let me know if you enjoyed my review. And if you haven't done so, please subscribe to my channel, hit like, share, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you guys can get notified whenever I pop up on your feed. I'll see you guys later.